Hi all again, welcome to my new little vlog. Right, I'm continuing on in this little journey in the bespoke world of tailoring. So I'm making a pure bespoke jacket for a client. This is a beautiful Harris tweed, pure wool. And so all the pockets are in now, as you can see. Flaps are in. And you've got the little back facing, which I did explain to you about earlier. Some tailors will not put a back facing in. If it's just a double jetting pocket, they do, but if it's got a flapping like this has, they don't put a back facing in, but I did. Anyway, I go get the grain sometimes. So the welt pocket's in here. He wanted it straight, so it's not slanted as some are slanted. So now what we're going to do now, I've had a fitting with him now. I'm going to place this canvas back in. It's all pad stitched inside the chest canvas. I'm going to place this back in now. And then what we're going to do here, this is pure wool canvas. I did explain about on my earlier vlog about this. So I'm going to just place that back in now, you can see. And then what I'm going to do, I'm just going to canvas this back in now. So that's what I'm going to show. I'm just going to show you little glimpses into what I do. Every tailor's got their own way. And gosh, you could have 100 tailors and they'll each have 100 different ways. You know, some will learn in-house from some companies like Savaro, and they're stuck in their ways. And I've learned from 5 master tailors, but one of them is one of the world's best tailors, and he was on Savaro for 8 years. He's like an engineer. Even he discarded some of the Savaro techniques which wouldn't work on his superfine 200, which is a real superfine fabric cloth. So that some of the Savaro techniques could not work on that, so he had to devise his own way. He's like an engineer, you know, so I'm doing his exact way, which I did show you about the shoulders, the shoulder canvas. Now we have to retain this shape, because remember we've got a dart here, and we've got this reflects in the dart in the canvas here all the way down. And this is an old traditional cut here, because this dart extends all the way down to the hem, and there's a dart here where the side body, there's no side body in this. This is a one-piece front. So there's a dart here on the side here where the side body would have been, and it goes down to just past the pocket here. So we have to retain these shapes because it gives the whole shape of the canvas. So what I'm going to do first, I'm going to just quickly show you. So I get my basting thread. So we use a special thread, we call it a basting thread. You can get it from a lot of tailoring merchants. And what I'm going to do, I can't find my glasses. Where's my glasses? So let me get my glasses. Oh, here they are. So, right. So every tailor's got their own method for even canvassing, even making the pockets, everything. So of course, the 5 tailors I learned from all had different ways. So I've kind of taken some on board. I've discarded some, but I'm using, for jacket making, I'm using the Savaro tailor's way. Well, he was on the road for 8 years, so one of the world's best as well. So I'm just going to go down the, just bring that in there, just make sure that everything with the canvas is okay. Now we need to, a lot of tailors, you see, when they're canvassing, they'll push it and they create ease in the canvas. Well, I have taught you don't put ease in the canvas. There's only a very fraction of ease, and the reason being because this has been pre-shrunk. A lot of tailors won't pre-shrink their canvas, but I have. So we don't necessarily have to put ease in this canvas. You don't want ease, otherwise you're going to have this pooling of extra canvas that will just fall down like gravity. It will just fall, and it's not going to be a good look. So this has all been pre-shrunk the canvas, so we don't need to. Basically, you've got to keep it flat. Okay, so I'm just going to first of all, just come across my shoulder here. Just going to tack it across here, a couple of inches down there. Now usually you use a table. I mean, I've got a table, I've got a cloth on this because I press on this table, so it's a little bit tricky sometimes too when I'm doing things like this, but it should be fine. And you never ever did that great Savaro tailor show me. You never ever put tight stitches in, because putting tight stitches in can create fullness. You don't want to create fullness in there. So you'll see all of my holding stitches, they're very loose. And that's what we're trying to do. All right. So that's fine there now. Okay. Just got a couple more there, just to hold that across there now. So now I'm going to go down where the crease line is. So we're just basically putting holding stitches down just to hold the fabric onto the canvas whilst we are working on it still. It's like our scaffolding, these holding stitches are. And that's why you'll see on pure bespoke jackets, you'll see all these white stitches like tram lines going all over the jacket. And this is what this is. It's to hold the canvas in place whilst we're working on it. And at the end, it will be. Now, as we go down here, I'm just going to show you here. Because there's a dart here, we've got a shape around here. And so we need to, I'm going to invert this with a cone. So this grates our rotation. Show me this way and I'll do it. So you put the underneath and that will retain, you see now, that's flat here now, but there's shape. And this, inverting this fabric up here, we can work on it here now. We don't need to worry. So I'm just going to just carry on here now. So it's one of the tricks of the trade we do. We need to keep the shape of what we've created in our jacket. That's why there's darts in there's darts in the canvas as well. You know, there's little wedges here and there. So you can see, a lot of times we'll push it, we don't do it. I keep it flat. You can see I'm keeping it totally flat. I'm just going down. And the stitches they're loose, you can see. Because if we put a tight stitch in it, it can create a little bit of fullness. So we do not want any fullness. It's got to be totally flat, you can see here. And then I'll just go down there. That's fine. I should have done a longer basting thread. It's fine. Now we'll just reload. So that's what we're going to do. So this is it takes many, many years, you know. Every tailor will tell, we're still learning our trade. Even the day I hang up my shears, I'm still learning the trade. Because I'm a fashion designer as well, I do couture. You know, I'm still learning new techniques and methods in the couture world, which I've learned in the bespoke world, which I put into the couture world. And in the couture world, what I've learned there, I put into the bespoke world. So I combine them both together. It's like a marriage made in heaven. So, and always be proud of the work you're doing. Don't ever rush things, please, you know, because I see people, if you're home sewer, you still should take pride in your work, you know. I mean, this is an expensive jacket I'm making for a client of mine. So everything's got to be perfect. And so, you know, that's what we're doing. So of course, my Savaro teller, he told me that they were in Savaro mainly, a lot of them are on piecework, kind of. They get paid for each jacket they complete, so they've got to be very fast. So you do learn how to be fast but efficient as well. You can see this now. I'm not pushing anything down. I'm keeping everything flat. You can see it's a little bit difficult with the camera in its way to actually do this, but you'll get the gist of what I'm trying to say to you and what I'm doing. See? So that's what we do there now. Now that stitch is in there. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to show you here. We've got our canvas on here, and we need the pocket bag has got to be on top. So what I do here now, I can see where my stitching is, and that pocket, this canvas has got to tuck under here. So I'm just going to just cut this. So I use that as my template there, because this has got to tuck under there, and there's my stitching line. So I'm just going to just come above my stitching line there, and I'll fill the edge of the pocket. I'm not going to go to the edge. I can just below the edge there, and I'm just going to just trim this off here. There, just trim that off there. And then you can see, I'm just going to tuck this. Can you see what I'm doing? That's what we do. So now this is going to go tuck under. That's perfect. There we go. Can you see that? Just make sure that's fine. Yeah, that's good there. And that's good there. The pocket bag's got to be on top. Can you see? And that's what we do. That's fine. Now what I'm going to do here, where that's gone under there, it's going to just tack this in place here because I don't want this moving. So afterwards I'm going to tack above here as well. So I'll do that at the end. So basically just put some holding stitches right across the pocket, and I'm going to tack it underneath here as well. Just there, it's just so it just holds it in place there. So it's just a couple of little stitches. As I said, every time it's got their own method. They'll say, oh, we do this way. They'll probably do totally different method to what I do, you know. And but I'm just gonna, it's just only a little, just to hold this canvas in place at the pocket so it doesn't move around when it's all finished, because we're going to take off all the holding stitches at the end anyway. And then, as I said to you, I'm going to put some little cross stitches across there that'll hold the pocket down. That'll be done afterwards. So just bring this back in now. That's fine there now. And so what I'm going to do now next is to hold this, to hold the pocket bag, hold this in place so it doesn't flap around when I'm going to stitch it afterwards. So what I do, I just go across here, just on the top there, and then I'm just going to just do some little, you can see what I'm doing. Just come down there. Actually, it's the other way because I'm using my left jacket here. So we're going to put some holding stitches there now, just to hold that pocket bag in place, because we're going to cross stitch it afterwards. So we don't want it flapping in the wind. This is quite a bulky tweed. You can see what I'm doing. So there we have that. And I'm not doing, see, they've got to be loose stitches, so just make sure they're loose. Okay, that's fine there now. I've run out of my basting thread, so just have to have a long piece of thread when you're doing things like this. Right, let's get this back in. So there's so many procedures in the bespoke tailoring, and especially in jacket making. That's why it can take up to 10 years to become a real bespoke tailor, and many years of being as an apprentice to some master tailors. So this is why I don't really teach jacket making on my course, because it can take you so many it could take you a few years, and you'd have to be with me. So waistcoat making, trouser making, shirt making, dress making is a different thing altogether. So that's fine, you can be with me for a few months with that. So I'm just going to just go down here. So you can see I'm just keeping this totally flat now. You can see? Loose stitches, okay? And I'll just finish about a couple of inches where the hem was going to be. Okay, that's fine there now. Okay, that's sorted there now. Now the next thing we're going to do is we need to retain the shape of the canvas and the front dart. Because remember, it's all shaped. That's why darts exist. So I'm going to get my donkey, called a donkey. You try and get a big donkey, a big wide donkey if you can. And a lot of tailors now, they'll work on the table, and where the dart is, they'll elevate that because it's shaped, and they'll, with a ruler or whatever they're going to do, and they'll just do the holding stitches. I don't do that. So, and I do this for a lot of women's jackets as well. So where the dart is, it's shaped. So I've got to retain that shape of the canvas dart and the front dart of the fabric. So I'm just going to from where the pocket is, I'm just going to because I use you call it a sleeve board, we call it donkeys in the trade. Also, it's great because it elevates the height as well. It brings it higher up. It's just easier to work with as well. So just bring it over here, and where my dart is, I'm going to just put that over because I need to retain that shape because it's shaped. You know, if you work with darts, you'll understand what a dart, the function of a dart does. And this is a dart here. This is a chest dart. So I'm just going to retain that. So I put it over my donkey here, my sleeve board, to retain that shape. You can see. And you keep the work flat still on this side. Okay. So I'm just going to go up here. See, my stitches are still loose. This is a thick fabric. It's a little bit tricky, especially with the canvassing. Even though we use quite a lightweight canvas, it's still quite thick. Okay, that'll be fine. Okay, so there we have that. And then, so what I'm going to do now next is the armhole. So where the armhole is, there's a side body. The side body would have been here. So I'm still going to put my stitch where the side body will be. There's still a seam here. There's a dart here on the side. So I'm going to do that. That's what I'm going to do. So you got to retain the shape of this jacket, and you'll see what I mean at the end of this. So where this is now, I'm going to keep that shape there still, going from the side here, because this dart has been shaped. This is where the side body would have been. There's another section of the front. They call it a side body, but in this jacket there's no side body, but there's a dart that replaces the side body and it still gives it shape. So I still need to give that shape there. And remember, everything is still flat on the side here. So that's fine. And then what I do now is I'm just going to go up the armhole here. And I'm still focusing on this dart here. This dart that was here. So I'm just going to keep that there. So you keep moving your work down and just keeping everything flat. But I'm still retaining where this dart is on the chest there. And that's got to be flat, but where that dart is there, they're slightly curved there to retain that shape there. So, and I'm still keeping that work flat. You can see I'm moving this down here. Still keeping it flat. I'm not putting any fullness in that canvas at all. It's just nice and flat. Some tailors will argue about that. Some tailors will understand. But as I said before, I've learned from an amazing technical tailor.
We are open.
Okay, so the last row of stitches we're going to do, if I just get this back in, it will be on the edge, just to keep the edge where the lapel is together with the canvas. So I'm just going to go from here. Let's see. So there we go. So this is the last stitch here. Last row of stitches. And just to keep everything together. As you see, I'm not pulling anything. I'm just keeping everything flat. And I'm just going to go down to where the button's going to be. This is a one button jacket here. There we go. And that's it, everyone. So I'll see if I can get this shot out for you here. I'll get it for you there. It's totally shaped. This is what we want. I'm going to get it out for you there, if you can there.